Hi, my name is Marilena Herrera, and today I am in my English class with my first project. I'm going to talk about the radiation discovery. One of the most striking discoveries that has changed the course of new technologies in the world is radiation. As in many important discoveries that have been made, this is also a non intentional discovery. It happened in 1896 when the French physicist Henri Becquerel was studying fluorescence and phosphorescence. Doing his experiment in Paris with uranium salts and the effects that sunlight produced, he had to pause his experiment because the weather did not cooperate. So he left his plates on his drawer. 1 week later, when he opened his drawer and he expected to see a weaker image of them, but instead the images were surprisingly clear. The uranium salts that the platter had emitted radiation without any sunlight. This was a shocking thing. 2 years later, in 1898, Marie Curie, an extremely bright, polished scientist with two master's degrees, one in physics and another one in mathematics, took his work further and began to make her own experiments with this strange and fascinating uranium ray. She named the new phenomenon radioactivity, and with the help of her husband, Pierre Curie, they made huge advantages. They learned a way to measure the intensity of radioactivity, and they discovered other radioactive elements like polonium, thorium, and radium. The endless days and nights they spent in their laboratory are captured in Maria Curie's notebook. This is safely preserved within the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris. In recent studies, it was revealed that it has been 100 years since she wrote those notebooks, and they still continue to emit radioactive glow. These three intellectual erudites, Henri Becquerel, Marie Curie, and Pierre Curie, won the Nobel Prize in 1903 for their remarkable scientific work on radioactivity. So, if you're wondering what is in fact radioactivity, radiation, this is energy that moves from one place to another. This energy travels in a waveform. And what causes this energy movement? Well, when the atoms are unstable, they break down and they release both energy and tiny little pieces of their center part. This process is called radioactivity. There are three important aspects that occurred in the world after discovering radiation. This is a controversial but essential energy force. First of all, what happened is that there were new medical discoveries and new inventions using radiation. To name a few of them are X rays, radiation cancer treatments. They started to put small radiation amounts for illness diagnosis. They invented the computed tomography scanners and the MRI. One consequence of involving radiation in the medical field is that people's lives are preserved and prolonged because we can detect illness before it starts hurting. And also, we can cure more deadly disease. The second thing that happens in the whole world is we got to be directly communicated with a touch of a button, considering that all modern communication systems use electromagnetic radiation. Each one of them, the AM and FM radio, TV signals, TV remote controls, cellular phones, Wi Fi routers, Bluetooth devices, satellite links, and high speed fiber optic internet. Many positive consequences develop all around the world. People in different countries can communicate directly, and we have more power to express themselves and can influence more in politics and social events. And services commerce has speed up, and transactions have simplified from one continent to another. Another thing that happened is that many countries started to see this new force of energy as a way to develop basic human life needs like electricity. With the demand of the electric energy increasing minute by minute and the world's population growth, countries started to build massive nuclear power reactors to assure of that all of their population energy needs are covered. One of the positive things is that countries have solved their electric needs, but we cannot oversee the highly risk that this can represent. Even if the plant has an extreme and cautious security methods, these risks include contamination, the risk of natural disasters, like what happened in Fukushima, Japan, where they had a 9-degree earthquake. You can have human errors, like in Chernobyl, Ukraine, where a badly executed test was made and the cooling failure. Another thing is that you can have external attacks. And the first and the most tragic and unfortunate action is that countries started to use radiation in the military first. It all started in the United States back in 1942, at the beginning of the Second World War, with the Manhattan Project. The first atomic bomb was created. 3 years later, the Hiroshima suffered the first atrocious attack, with an uranium bomb ending the lives of 140,000 innocent people. 3 days later, Nagasaki coast had a plutonium bomb. It took again 80,000 victims' lives. These two horrific actions had tremendous consequences. They did not only put an end to World War II, it also began a new nuclear era where countries all around the world began to empower their nuclear arsenals. There have been several efforts by country leaders to make alliances and to reduce or limit the strategic atomic weapons. But recent studies made in 2024 by the Stockholm International Peace Institute revealed that countries have intensified their nuclear modernization programs, and they believe that there are approximately 12,200 nuclear warheads all around the world. I believe that there are some things we can do to have done things different. And this could help make a better world. As first option is that people can ask for changes in the way our tax money is spent. Every country can increase efforts to support medical research, to develop better and more solutions on how radiation can help cure different illnesses. Most of the financial support comes from industries instead of our governments. All around the world, they invest 6 to 8 times more in nuclear weapons than in the amount in nuclear medical research. The whole world wastes approximately $13.5 million per hour in atomic weapons. Another thing we can do better is to use communication systems and electricity wisely, not wasting energy, not leaving lights on, TVs, or use the cellular phones excessively, just for fun and distraction. We can do those things in nature. We can choose to do activities in person, gather around with friends and family instead of using electronic communication. Here in Mexico, we have two nuclear plants that generate electricity. We need to know that the more plants we build, the higher the risk we have of a possible contamination problem. So we can all cooperate with reducing the way energy is wasted. I recommend to the future generations that in any area you decide to develop yourself, to always guide yourself, invest your time, and use your knowledge to have in projects that align with your values. They will always affect a person, your community, and sometimes the whole world. You can decide if it will impact in people's lives in a positive way. Thank you very much.